Yep. There are those who think that life has nothing left to chance, a host of holy horrors to select our aimless dance. A planet of playthings that dance on the strings of powers we cannot perceive. Stars aren't aligned or the gods are maligned, but it's better to give than receive. You can choose a ready guide or some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from venom, fears, and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will. There are those who think that they've been dealt a losing hand. The cards were stacked against them. They were born in Lotus Land. All preordained, a prisoner in chains, a victim of venomous fate. Kicked in the face, you can pray for a place in heaven's unearthly estate. You can choose a ready guide or some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from venom, fears, and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will. Each of us, a cell of awareness, imperfect and incomplete. Genetic blends with uncertain ends on a fortune that's far too fleet. You can choose a ready guide or some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from venom, fears, and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will.
Good morning. My name is Seher Kul, and I currently serve as president on the board of trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us here and those who are joining us virtually. Our congregation is a welcoming one. Being welcoming and inclusive is a never-ending commitment for us here at UUCS. Being welcoming means striving for radical inclusion and creating spaces that honor every part of our identities, backgrounds, and experiences. No matter who you are, no matter what experiences and identities you carry, you will be able to feel a sense of home here. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, we can't wait to meet you. We would love to provide you with information about our congregation. Please feel free to fill out a visitor's card and place it in the offering plate during the service. The visitor cards are located in a pocket on the back of the chair in front of you. There are many important announcements on the sheet titled Connect at the back of your bulletin this morning. Please open your bulletin to see all that you can be a part of. A 7-week consciousness book study will start Sunday, September 29th at 1 p.m. in Wild Hall. Contact Jean Batson-Turner or Catherine Hope for more information. Join us tonight at 6:30 p.m. in the sanctuary to celebrate the equinox. We are delighted to welcome Kimberly Hammond back, who enchanted us with her beautiful sound bath this summer. She will guide us through a meditative experience for the fall equinox, focusing on themes of balance as we embrace the darker months ahead. Feel free to wear your coziest attire. Pajamas are perfectly acceptable. If you wish, bring along a yoga mat, blanket, or pillow to enhance your comfort during this time of relaxation, reflection, and rejuvenation. Take a look at the flyer located at the back of your Connect. It features the relaunch of our church merchandise. You will find many of your favorites, along with some exciting new items, including a mug featuring the Open to All design. Don't forget, September 30th is the last day to register for the UUCS Integrational Supper Clubs. You can find sign-up sheets on the table in the entrance hall or register using the link provided in the Connect. We need to get everything coordinated so we can begin sharing meals and connecting with one another. If you have any questions about how the clubs work, options for participating without hosting at your home, or anything else, please feel free to contact Anne. The second annual UU Justice Alliance Fall Festival will be held in Columbia on Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Last year's event attracted a fantastic crowd. Let's aim for a bigger turnout this year. Consider carpooling with others for added fun. Be sure to register today. If you're thinking about becoming a member of UUCS, join the Path to Membership class. It's a great opportunity to discover more about Unitarian Universalism and our community. The next class will take place on Sunday, October 6th at 12:30 p.m. in Wild Hall. We provide lunch and offer childcare for attendees. You can sign up on the whiteboard located in the entrance hall. Thank you all for being here, for making this a community of such love, warmth, and care. Now I would like to invite Fred Stoll to share some exciting details about the upcoming Coffee House Renaissance.
Well, you know, I didn't ask to speak this week, so I'll just say I spoke last week about the coffee house. So I'll just a reminder: next Saturday evening is our Espresso Yourself Coffee House. It's for music, poems, personal stories, anything. It'll be in the fellowship hall, and it's talked about in the Connect, and there's also a poster outside. So hope to see you there.
I wanted to add my welcome to everybody at the UCS. I'm Cynthia Lanier, and I'll be your worship leader today. And it's time to light our chalice. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. And like Frida, stand and sing hymn number 10. Portugal.
Immortal love.
It's time to do our Rippling Bowl. We are a community that cares for one another. The Rippling Bowl represents our loving community. You can place a stone in the bowl that lessens the concern and a shell that increases our joy. The ripples go out when you place a stone or shell in the water. This represents how we come together to soothe our concerns and celebrate our joys. I want our loving community to keep John Michelle and our family in your thoughts and prayers. And Kara will place a stone or shell in the bowl for those who are not able to come to the Rippling Bowl. You can come now. The covenant was written by this loving community. It says how we want to live in our lives. The covenant can be found in the order of worship or on the screen for those who are watching virtually. Would you all say the covenant with me? With courage we say, we are the people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become a better self, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity not be divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of love beyond belief. Now it's time for us to greet one another. During this part of the service, we set aside time to personally greet one another. We honor each one's personal space. You're also welcome to sit quietly. And for those of you watching virtually, feel free to text or phone someone who you care about. And when we hear the music play, please return to your seats so we can continue the service. Okay. Y'all can greet.
Make sure actually somebody moved your microphone down. We want to be able to hear you.
This down. Ron.
Yeah, just make sure you're kind of in front of it.
Hey.
Just wanted to make sure. How are you? Where's Riley at? That's when you were going to the house, right? Okay, I thought so. I did. I was like, I asked him this morning, I was like, have you seen a haircut like that? No. Yeah, we're so good. Awesome. That sounds good. We'll be waiting on you.
It's time for the offertory. We share our treasures that we have received. Every month, we share the plate with an organization. Speaking Down Barriers is the one for this month. When the ushers pass the plates, we ask that you grip it with both your hands and pass it to the next person. I want to invite my friend Darian to come and speak about Speaking Down Barriers.
Cynthia's been a staple at Speaking Out Barriers events, so that's the truth, friend. So I'm the executive director of Speaking Out Barriers. My name is Davelin. These days I'm going by Davelin Athena, so I am really excited to be here to share a little bit about Speaking Out Barriers again. This morning I was reading the top of the bulletin where it says, "Welcome, we seek to create a world of mutual thriving for all beings, where everyone has enough and no one has to be afraid. Together we strive to build this beloved community, growing in wisdom, care, justice, service, and wonder, open to all." That's very similar to our mission at Speaking Out Barriers, which is equity for all. And we have two strategic imperatives. One is to end oppression, and that's all forms of oppression, transphobia, homophobia, racism, all the things. And at the same time, to value everyone. That sounds a lot like beloved community. So I feel like to be in this space with all of you, and we are in alignment and collaboration towards building a better world. So that's exciting. For me, just a little bit, the last couple of months have been experiencing a lack of wonder. Surrounded by all of the shenanigans going on, sadness, hopelessness from just war, disease, just all the things, right? And so a dullness has been kind of dominating my days. And yet, when I look outside and see the wonder of the world, I'm like, wow, the world is wonderful. And our bodies interact with the physical world, also amazing. And so I think the struggle to live in the present and to be alive makes the mundane seem like it's not worth it. So what is wonder? I understand it to be when awe takes me by surprise. Awe plus surprise equals wonder. And at Speaking Down Barriers, we've been reading 1619 by Nicole Hannah-Jones. And it's the history from when the first enslaved Africans arrived in the colonies, and she says that's the beginning of the nation. And I have been awakened to a wide-eyed wonder at the resilience of my ancestors, and then seeing that resilience in me. Shouldn't be surprising, though, because of white supremacy. It seeks to shroud enslavement with mystery and make it not seem so bad, and it was easy to understand at the time. However, the testimony of 1619 tells a different story. It's the story of a birth of a particular people who came about through water and fire and continued to rise. There's this song by Donnie McClurkin, a gospel song, very, very simple refrain. But it goes a little like this, and if you know it, you can sing along just a little bit. But we fall down and we get up. We fall down and we get up. We fall down and we get up. For a saint is just a sinner who fell down and got up. And it tells the story of always being able to get back up again. Very similar to a Japanese saying that says, fall 7 times and get up 8. You know, Japan's been through a lot as a nation, an island history of calamities, including volcanoes and typhoons and floods and earthquakes and tsunamis. And in recent history, horrible consequences of war, including 2 atomic bombings. But no matter the crisis, Japanese folks bounce back. The ability to recover and grow stronger has much to do with their culture that values personal responsibility and hard work, but also humility and a sense of belonging to community. I wonder at their resilience. They believe people can live an individual happy life with self-actualization, but also being a part of what? Beloved community. So what's the purpose of getting back up again? Is it legacy, survival, hope? I think it's love. And a love that we talk about here, a love beyond belief. Love of self, love of life, love of the other, love of the energy of goodness that is present in us all. That's the wonder. We fall in order to get up again and love. Where might you need love this morning? Where might you need to get up again and wonder at your own resilience? Love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me, love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. So let me just leave you this one little image over here. It's a painting I've been working on. It's not finished yet. But the idea is coming together after falling apart. And it's a continual happening over and over and over and over again. We break, we reform, we remold, we're renewed. We break, we're remolded and renewed. Or put more simply, wonder.
I won't just survive, you will see me thrive. Can write my story, I'm beyond the archetype. I won't just conform, no matter how you shake my core, 'cause my roots they run deep. Oh, gives a little faith. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Victory is in my veins. I know it, and I will not negotiate. I'll fight it, I'll fight it. I will transform. When the fire is at my feet again, and the vultures all start circling, they're whispering, you're out of time, but still I rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. Don't be surprised, I will still rise. I must stay conscious through the madness and chaos, so I go on, my angels. They say, oh, ye have so little faith. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Victory is in your brains. You know it, and you will not negotiate. Just fight it, and be transformed. 'Cause when the fire is at my feet again, and the vultures all start circling, they're whispering, you're out of time, but still I rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. Don't be surprised, I will still rise. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Oh, you know it, still rise. Just fight it. Don't be surprised, I will still rise.
One of the things that we try to do in the life of this congregation is notice the gifts that we all carry and encourage each other in those. One way that we say that sometimes is, if you have a job that needs to be done, look around and see who's already doing it, and invite them to do it more formally. Like, if we needed someone to sing and play the piano, might we turn to Sydney and say, gosh, wouldn't you do that for us? Isn't she exceptional? So, in a world and a nation where religion is often used for control and domination, where theology is twisted for the sake of political gain, if you happen to notice a preacher of liberation and love stand before you, wouldn't you say to her, "Gosh, would you do that again?" How about a standing ovation for Davlin Hill? So I'm going to give you a mantra to repeat today every time you see Davlin. And it goes like this. You can say it with me. Stay in seminary, Davlin. Practice that with me. Stay in seminary, Davlin. Let's all practice one time. Just stay in seminary, Davlin. So much giftedness. Last week, talked about the act of blessing. That's just one person offering another encouragement, offering hope. And there are formal blessings that we speak. People who carry microphones or visit hospital rooms speak. But there are so many ways to bless. Offering food to each other, friendship, music, and strong words. This act of blessing, it's people connecting in times of stress, whether through the circumstances of the world or choices that we've made, however it happened. And helping each other touch once more that deep goodness, what Davlin called wonder, the deep beauty of the cosmos and of our world. By connecting with that just through our kindness for each other, to find the next step. Whatever that goodness is for you, however you conceive of it, touch that with me now. In silence. Bless this gathering in this world by touching that deep goodness of our world. It's a source of energy and peace. However you understand it, just that which is good, just touch that. I got royalty, got loyalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. You know this? Say it. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though. Ambition, flow inside my DNA. What do you hear in these words? Could you follow them? What do you hear? I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. What do you hear? The human experience. What do you mean? Ups and downs. Pain. Power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. Survival. What else? What do you hear? Epigenetics. What do you mean by that? So there's a background in our DNA, and then it's changing through our experience. Something that we've inherited, but also something that we're creating. What do you hear? The ancestors, what do you mean?
Those who came before me, who experienced everything I'm experiencing now, plus some.
I'm experiencing what those before me experienced, and then some, plus some. I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece. I got war and peace inside my DNA. Power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle though. Ambition, flow inside my DNA. These are the words of the Pulitzer Prize-winning musician and poet Kendrick Lamar. Song in which he speaks about what he has inherited and what he is trying to make of it. It's a tough song, very clear-sighted, very ambitious, very strong. It comes off of an album called Damn. And that word damn has all of the meaning that Unitarians and Universalists would want it to have, about taking things that are so hard and trying to turn them into something the world looks at and says, damn. To take condemnation and turn it into celebration, superlative, and excellence. This month, Mary Underwood asked that we reflect on the controversy between free will and determinism. Do we have free choice in this world? Or are our actions determined? Determined by history, by context, by culture, determined by genetics, by our biology, by our chemistry. When this problem is posed, it's often presented as an either-or, as something to be wrestled over. And when leading philosophers and scholars, scientists, think about this, you can hear them pushing to the extremes of these ideas. There are very prominent intellectuals who argue for an absolute determinism, and the way that their thinking goes is like this. If we could finally discern the cause and effect relationship between not only all events through time, or all our lives through those events, but through our molecular makeup, the little pieces of ourselves ricocheting off the other little pieces of ourselves in endless chain reactions, we would be able to see that everything is playing out in a particular pattern. There are people who try to throw a variation to this and say there is some level of unpredictability at the microcellular level, at the quantum level. But still the idea that at some point we might be able to decipher how all of this works. That is a huge if. But I want to hasten to say that there's value in what these people offer. Now, they often present their ideas with a caveat that this idea of extreme determinism is unraveling to your mental well-being. You can turn off their podcast or put down their book and go away. Just don't worry about dealing with the hardcore truths they're delivering. It's a little arrogant. But what they're saying is, this is very unnerving. The idea that maybe there's no choice ultimately. However, they share implications of this thought. And some of that is really useful. Like they say, in a nation, the highest level of incarcerated citizens in the history of humankind in the world, perhaps it would be worthwhile to think contextually about people's lives and what it is that leads us to make the choices that we make, and also what leads our culture to make the choices it makes. And perhaps punitive action towards a whole swath of behaviors is inappropriate, ineffective, inefficient, maybe just unethical. And so this deterministic thought, even if it seems to push too far so that ultimately we have no choice in the world, it causes us to think about our world in a way that can be revolutionary in the best sense, can push us to question our institutions and our assumptions, and to think about how to be more compassionate towards each other in the world. The other side of this is free will, the idea that we have absolute choice. And this is presented in two ways. One says, if free will is real, then you can choose anything at all at any time. Right? Anything at all. I could choose to say something completely out of the box right now. Right? I have total freedom to do that. But that seems implausible because I care about my wife and children and our house. And even though my contract says that I have freedom of the pulpit, I don't really believe that that's true. There are conditions and pressures bearing in on me, right? There's also a way of thinking about free will that says we have absolute responsibility for our lives. And so if we get it wrong, we're in trouble. Now, I really like the idea of radical responsibility, that we do have duty to own our lives and to develop our lives, to try to make something of our lives the best that we can, with gentleness and seriousness. But this judgment comes in. This idea that if you get it wrong, and by whose standards we might ask, then you're in trouble. Somehow you've messed up. This is very damaging. At best, it can be inhibiting, right? We hold back because we're worried that if we mess up, there's going to be a negative repercussion. And we hold back from taking good risks. But it can get way worse, where we feel a truth inside of ourselves, a set of choices we might make about who we are, how we show up in the world, how we identify, how we love, how we're going to work, what we're going to stand for. And that external judgment levels itself against us. This is just Calvinism showing a new face, coming down hard on us. And it has forebears in Augustine and people going back older than that, right? It turns into a kind of control. And so we're caught here with this profound question, determinism or free will. And quietly, all these pressures are aligned to make it hard to just think coherently about the question. But I have good news. In reaction to Augustine and Calvin, and in great love of science, which also means great skepticism about received knowledge in science, and always pushing to further knowledge and looking for new ways to think, a weird group of people emerged called Unitarian Universalists. And their whole purpose is to bring things together that seem contradictory. Our tradition has a habit of saying not either or, but plus. You think about these things in combination. And if we just take this question that Mary has posed to us, free will or determinism, and flip it into an addition problem instead of a subtraction problem, I think we find things that not only seem reasonable, but that are life-giving and very beautiful. Davlin preached it all already. We live in a world that is heavily determined. It is a conditioned world. We're born into it. Some would say thrown into it. And when we enter into it, many things are happening independent of our choice that are going to affect our lives. The families that we're born into, the way that we look, how our bodies are going to respond in the world, whether they respond the way a bunch of other people do, or if they're very different from other people, and how those other people are going to treat us. On and on and on. We can name so many ways that the world is conditioned for good and for ill. And there we are in it. Sometimes it's to our advantage, but very often it's totally unfair. And there we are. And it doesn't work to ignore that. It really matters to pay attention to that, to be aware of the conditioned nature of the world, to try to make sense of it. But that also means that the world is a world of connections and relationships, of pieces interacting with each other in a dynamic way. And so inasmuch as other bodies and context may put pressure on us, it can also, although it sometimes does not, can also be positive, be life-giving. Devlin preached to us about beloved community, creating a context of relationships that are life-giving instead of life-draining. So the very determined nature of the world doesn't mean that our lives are limited, but that there is even a chance for expansion. Just think practically about this. Think for just a moment about someone in your life, just one person, who by your interaction with them, your relationship, created an experience of expansion in your life rather than limitation. Think of one person who created in you a larger life by your relationship with them. Isn't that goodness? To touch the memory of that person? So some of you reach out to the very person beside you. That's good news. And within that context of our conditioned, determined world, is a basic human phenomena that all of these brilliant thinkers seem somehow to miss or to skirt. And it'd be fascinating to have an argument with them. I would really frustrate and bore them, I think. But it seems to me that it's important to always keep before us what I take to be the fundamental question of our lives. What the hell am I going to do next? And my guess is we're all asking this question right now as we contemplate how much time is left in the service and how far away the bathroom or the lunch line are, right? What am I going to do next? And so, whatever the underlying nature of the world may be, we are faced constantly with choices. Choices. And I don't think that those choices are free in the sense of being able to randomly pick content out of infinite possibilities. That's not the way the world works. But within the conditions and relationships of the world, we do have a lot of choices, right? Depending on what comes out of my mouth, you determine my employment. It's a lot of choice, right? But if we nurture a relationship with each other, it can be a deeply life-giving choice, I hope, for all of us. And it's nurturing, fulfilling, something that moves us. Speaking of conditions as limitations is looking at them from only one perspective. The conditioned, interconnected, relational nature of our universe can be generative for us and life-giving, can sustain us, can help us awaken to the larger self that we are. And freedom is not the ability to just do whatever we want all the time with no consequences a completely random set of choices that have no reference to this world and this life. That's not freedom. Freedom is the chance to make a life in this difficult world and to create a context that can sustain us in that. And that's the work. The questions of determinism and free will, they are fascinating and wonderful. I love them. I love being pushed by them. I hope science and philosophy take us as far as possible in challenging our thought. But all of that thought comes back to how we make a life in this world. And it seems to me that our lives, at best, are in relationship, and that those relationships can set us free. Kendrick Lamar, in this song DNA, names murder, conviction, burners, boosters, fathers dead with kids, a prayer for redemption. He names a whole background of loss and pain and violence and scholars, artists, love, wishing to be in relationships that would feed him forgiveness. All of that, he says, is in my DNA. A world I didn't create, but one I get to help create now. And that's where we'll find freedom, in the choice to make this a world where we can live. I think that's a good world. It's a world full of trouble and difficulty. But at bottom, it's a world of relationship and possibility. One where you came into being. And damn, that's good.
I brought my spirit to the sea. I stood upon the shore. I gazed upon infinity. I heard the waters roar. And then there came a sense of peace. Some whisper calmed my soul. Some ancient ministry of stars made my spirit whole. I brought my spirit to the trees that
That is a conditioned world made better by relationship. A word about next week. Once a month, we invite a guest speaker to come. The reasons for that are many. One is that it completely undermines the authority of the minister by introducing other thought. And this is an intentional part of the way this congregation and this movement are structured. It's a wonderful thing. It also allows us to go away from each other, you and me, so that we can remember that we want to be together, right? And so far, it's worked. May it ever be so. Next week, we have amazing guests coming to speak with us, and I want to be very clear about why they're coming and the way in which they're coming. The person who's coming is a wonderful, wonderful community leader named Catherine Harvey. Some of you may have seen her name around town, and that's fine. You've seen her name. That's great. She is coming here as a community leader who is involved in so many ways to help build up the way our community speaks to itself, the way it represents itself, the way it makes decisions, right? She has led this community in the effort of our census, was recognized nationally for the degree of outreach and participation that it achieved. She has created a network of nonprofits trying to make sense of so many people doing so many things, asking for the same dollars, and asking for everybody to come to all their events at the same time. She has created a way for those people to try to communicate together in order to maximize the good that we all can do. She does a bunch of other things well. She is also involved in politics, but she is not coming to talk about her politics. And she's not coming to stump as a candidate. We don't do that here, right? One of our deepest values is democracy. And we talk about that a lot. And she wants to come and talk with us about participating in democracy. How to make this a vital democracy. The way that our movement, the UUA, does that is through a simple rubric. It's very powerful. And we've used it for years now in all of our work with voting justice, with voter registration, get out the vote efforts, all kinds of stuff. And the way that we phrase that is, we are prophetic, not partisan. We will never tell anyone how to vote, but we will talk ardently about the importance of voting. And we will talk about these things that have a huge role in conditioning and determining our lives, because they really matter. She comes in that spirit. And we will be led by another outstanding community leader whose name you might often also have seen some places, Clemson Turagano, who has embodied this prophetic, not partisan rubric for his entire life of service. I hope you'll come, and come knowing there is no pressure or coercion about these people who speak. They have a real message about democracy to share with us. And we are glad they want to share that here. It's a beautiful world. There's a goodness deep within it. And when through all of the pain and unfairness, the deep injustice, the difficulties of this life, we touch that goodness. The goodness in us touching that deep, deep beauty of the world. Energy and life spread as a blessing to us all. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. somebody planted in the congregation who was throwing signals the entire service to remind me. And I kept nodding her off. Voting justice. If you would like to check your voter registration, there will be a voting registration check that Ruth Jane and Alice Sutton are leading in the fellowship hall right now.